Let's finish up this 30,000-mile round-the-world trip, shall we? This is flight number 9, Finnair's very special, love it or hate it, business class on the A330 Doha to Helsinki. How will it be? And will I still be alive at the end of this 32-hour, 3-flight trek from Sydney? Let's see.
You've seen me fly Finnair before, most likely, although I haven't done it on my channel except for a little short hop between Stockholm and Helsinki, I think. Over on the Flight Radar channel, I've done a number of long-haul flights with them, and I guess you've probably seen those among others with the new business class, the very special new business class. But if you haven't, you're in for something very interesting, because it is the seat that does not recline, right? If you haven't heard about it, wait till you see it. It's very interesting, and it's a seat I love, actually. That makes it sound terrible, and the result is anything but terrible. It has drawn mixed opinions, but the majority of people I've talked to really love it. It's really innovative. And Finnair has been doing these flights between the Nordic capitals, including Helsinki, but also Copenhagen and Stockholm and Doha, filling in for some of the Qatar Airways flights that used to run on these routes. Finnair basically finding a use for some A330s that they didn't have a use for, but they're going to be wrapping that up. They're going to be stopping it as of January, so that's a couple months from now. This is the sort of tail end of their little special Doha operation. It's a nice reasonable flight length, I think around 7 hours at the moment, because they're flying via Cairo instead of going up between Iran and Iraq. Presumably that's because of unrest in the area. They feel it's a better bet to go via the more stable airspace. So interesting experience. Nice to be back on the Finnair long haul business class seat on the 330. It's been a while since I did it, so yeah, be a little refresher. And for those of you who haven't seen it yet, hope you enjoy. Let's get on board. It actually looks like the gate is pretty far away, so I better get moving after I do some forest bathing here in the Hamad International.
I've made I don't know how many videos about this Airlounge business product before, mostly on the Flight Radar channel. If you've seen any of those, you'll know I really love it. But I get that some people don't, as it is just unlike anything else in the sky. No recline means less moving parts and less weight, and they've set up something very special here with a nice cocoon-like setup and pillows so you can put your feet up and relax in your little space, which is neatly soundproofed and, well, just feels really cozy and cocooned. It's one of the best seats for sleeping in the sky as well, in my opinion. The lounging part can be a little more tricky, depending how you like to rest or watch TV. It won't be like other seats you've tried. It is, for me, a very Asian approach, where sitting cross-legged on a cushion on the floor in some cases is much more of a thing than in the West. So yeah, it helps that I grew up in Japan, where in the winter we would sit on the floor at a table with a big blanket under the tabletop that we'd put over our laps, and it even had a heater under the table. Sounds like a massive fire and not to mention spill hazard? Maybe so, but I loved it, and this reminds me of that in a funny way. Anyway, I love the look and feel of these, the fabric, the color, the privacy, and the storage isn't bad either. And the standard blueberry juice in gorgeous, iconic Iittala glass. That's another thing I'll never get tired of. So let's go back to cold and dark country. Remember, this was recorded in November. And as a reminder, you can always find the specific flight info, aircraft details, flight time, seat number, date of flight, and how I paid for it down in the description. IFE is good, lots of Succession available, which is always a win in my book, and other stuff too, but I didn't look too closely. Time for third breakfast of the day, and it's a tasty one. I'm a fan of their coffee as well. Let's take a closer look at this seat and how it feels in lounge mode. The bedding is nice enough, the blanket is really good. I do wish the mattress topper had a bit more thickness to it. Every airline could benefit from offering something more like JAL does. You can see my video from earlier in this series for more info on that one. Nevertheless, like I mentioned, I find the surface of this seat to be very well optimized for sleeping comfort, so it's not a big issue. And here's me pretending to sleep for your benefit. You didn't think I would just leave the camera rolling and fall asleep for real, right? A little light snack then, an appropriate mix for a Doha-Helsinki flight with the pita and hummus, much loved in the origin, and the vegetables so favored up in the Nordics. We eat slices of bell pepper on just about anything and for any meal. The flight attendant offered me a bonus sandwich as well, though I don't know if these are normally on the snack menu. If I hadn't had the sandwich, I might have wished for more food. This is a 6-hour flight after all. Luckily, I'd eaten 3 breakfasts, but if I hadn't, I might have been disappointed by this part. It would have been the one real negative. And that's it, we're back. Round the world trip over. I'm curious if you've tried this seat, what you thought of it. It's always fun to hear the usually strong opinions about it. And let me know what you thought of this whole trip. Eager to hear feedback of all kinds as usual. Welcome to Helsinki, back where I started last week. So a very nice flight with Finnair on the A330 to cap off this massive round the world trip. I can barely stand up now. I'm gonna have to go to bed pretty soon, but it was an amazing trip and nice to start and end with Finnair, an airline I've flown many times in recent years and almost always had a really great experience with. I find their cabin crew to be great. This was no exception. Everyone was just lovely. They were eager to chat, but not forcefully so. If you didn't want to chat, obviously, it seemed like they would get the hint, but if you wanted to chat, they were happy to converse and talk about things and just be friendly. And, you know, nice seat. I love that seat. It's not for everyone, I guess, but I think it's fantastic. Really nice, both for lounging and for getting a bit of sleep, which I did. And good food, good drinks, everything. Very satisfied in that pretty Marimekko livery, too. Got a couple of nice special liveries on this last bit of the trip. It's, I think, the longest trip in total I've ever done. I'm actually now going to get on one more flight to go home to Stockholm. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you thought about Finnair's A330, and I'll catch you next time. I'm not going to film the next flight.
I just need a flight off. Plus it's 40 minutes on Norwegian. There's really nothing to see. See you next time.